What's up guys, it's Patrick from Elevated Overland, and today we are working on my 1983 Toyota Sunrader. It's got an engine swap from a new Tacoma, trans swap, it was a 4-speed, now it's 5-speed, super low gears in the transfer case and the axles, so this thing just crawls along on this off-road trails. Stuck triple bypass shocks under it, a lot of other goodies. But today we are working on the interior. So we're gonna go ahead and, by interior I mean the shell. We're doing pretty much a restoration on this thing. We're going to pull the entire shell off the back. We're going to do all the fiberglass work that's needed. We're going to paint it up. We're going to get it looking perfect. We're also going to paint the cab, put new 4-wheel drive fenders on it. We're going to get a new hood because this hood's pretty roached. We're going to get this thing looking super primo. And yeah, we did the demo last episode, and we're now going to continue demoing before we can start constructing. So this thing's on some 35 10.5s. It is a dually in the rear. Got the rear bumper, trash carrier, extra gas. Got to have all that. And then inside, it's huge. It feels massive. So it felt big before, but now that it's empty, it feels super big. Issues we're having. We have holes in the floor. We have separation. The chassis needs reinforced. The interior fell apart. And now we're going to fix it. The chassis is straight, I'm pretty sure. But I'm going to make pretty much a whole new chassis and just make the rear half of this thing super solid. I want to make it pretty much bulletproof. We're also going to go ahead and increase the departure angle here by cutting from here down, making something really cool there. I'm super excited to do that. No one's ever really done that, and it's going to be very interesting. It won't get into our floor that much, actually. And we are going to cut out the entire floor, do a new subfloor, do a new frame. We're going to reseal it. We have a lot in store. All these will get sealed up. It's going to get painted. It's going to look great. It's going to be one of a kind, already more than it is. We're going to start by getting ready to take this whole camper off of the truck. I've done this a few times. It's never fun. Right in here, there are a ton of screws. So along the edge, there's a ton of nasty sealant, butyl tape, screws. It goes all the way up. Sure, under this headliner, so we're gonna have to get rid of that, which sucks. I don't know what we're gonna do about that. I've never had to put it back, so do it as nice as possible. And then yeah, try and once this is ready to come off, get all the carriage bolts out. There's just some carriage bolts that they have in the subfloor. They're like barely holding it in, and we'll cut all those out. And then we'll pull it off and put it on some gassers and shove it outside till the next evening or the evening after that. Who knows? But I do want to get the truck worked on. I want to get the camper worked on, and this is the first step to doing it all. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so right now the best thing I can think of to get to access to all the screws that are under here is to just take a razor blade and cut very nicely and leave myself as much as possible for next time. Alright, here's the deal. Cutting this bumper off, or at least this upright, because, well, we got to take the shell off, and we're just about there. We'll cut the upright off, and then we'll cut all the carriage bolts out, and we'll try and get the shell off somehow. But we'll take the tire off right now. Lug key. The naked booty of a Sunrader. Don't actually have to cut that off, I just have to get under it. That'll be interesting. So, now that we got the rear bumper add-on cut off of the Sunrader, we're gonna go ahead and get it in the lift bay and see what it looks like. We may be pulling the forklift in and using the forklift and this. It's only me here, so I want it to be as safe as possible. But we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and at least get this thing positioned in the lift bay where it needs to be. Alright, so I've thought about it, and I've stared at it long enough. I just have to start wiggling this thing off of here. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it. Nothing's going to work perfect, the 2-post lift, the forklift, but I got to get these carriage bolts out of here. So what's where we're going to start is we're going to cut these carriage bolts, and then it should be completely free. Kind of feel it out, see what we want to do, and go from there. Alright, so while I was figuring out how to take this off, I figured we might as well take that 125-pound unit off the roof. So now you're going to see me get the forklift out and try not to break anything. So normally this is where I would say before I get ahead of myself, but we are already far ahead of where we need to be. So we have the forklift in here. It's on the rear end here. Rear end is pretty much free. And now I'm going to pull the mirrors off the doors, because pulling the mirrors off the doors, we can use the 2-post right here. And hopefully this thing doesn't just collapse in half. Yeah, this is barely enough room to, if this works, squeeze the truck over there and set the shell all the way down. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try it. And by down, I mean down for the evening. And tomorrow I will build some casters for this thing to go outside on. But it's like 10 o'clock now. So if we get this off and on the ground, I can get this castered up by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Alright, so once we get the mirrors off, this is where things get serious. We start lining the 2-post up with the cab over, and that's, it's always nerve-wracking pulling a Sunrader shell. There's no set definition on how much force can be applied where, so it's always a shot in the dark as to if this is going to work or if it's not. I had never pulled a 21-foot Sunrader shell, so I didn't know if the cab over was going to support all of the weight of the camper. But it turned out to be all right. We got it up, down, a whole bunch of times, finding all sorts of little things that weren't disconnected yet or were just in the way. And finally, we knew it was free, so we started going up and up with the lift and up with the forklift. And let me tell you, it was quite nerve-wracking doing all this by myself and not, being able to see both ends of the situation while I was either going up with a hydraulic 2-post lift or going up with my hydraulic, forklift. So it was a interesting process, but we finally got it pulled out from under the camper. And once we got it pulled out from under the camper, we realized that this truck was pretty much wedged in there and stuck. Alright, so right now I just cut the rear half of the frame off. Not the whole thing, but I'm going to cut more, don't worry. That's just the beginning. We're trying to get this weaseled out from under here and over here so that we can drop this down and get it scooted forward and out of the way, and this can leave the garage. So, oh, they called me crazy. Well, no one did, but I did, and I did it, so it's off. What a sight, huh? The already 4-wheel drive Sunrader shell off, and it's going back on this crappy chassis. Smart guy. This went relatively smoothly. Got the truck disconnected from the coach. I always said if I ever did this, I'd never put it back on a Toyota, but here I am, putting it back on a Toyota. I am exhausted. I'm sorry for my lack of enthusiasm. But, oh, it's all locked up. We got this separated. It's there. It's empty. Empty shell, separate from the truck. I've seen this all too many times, and I know exactly how much work's ahead of me, so that's unfortunate. Alright, you guys, it got late quick. I got tired, and we called it a night. But obviously, things escalated quite a bit from where we were. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of this, smash that subscribe button, and I hope to see you later.